personally, I told you my concerns and was asking whether or not there was a time frame, and you go, I can't leave the school district at this point in time. But it was left open-ended. But would you agree that our conversation, I was trying to take and convey to you that the people see this now at what we take and pay our constables to serve as a full-time job. And we discussed that, you know, a lot of warrant service takes place in the afternoon because that's whenever people take it and come back home from their jobs. And so, I mean, I understood that on it, and I told you that day, as long as you're serving the court and the JP's happy, then, you know, I'm pretty much behind you on it. But would you say that your desire to remain at the school district interferes with you being constable for precinct 1?
No, sir, I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
Because that's what, I mean, this has been discussed, nobody else does. What is it? And then right on the heel of that, they go, he's employed somewhere else. And I mean, that's a battle that I have had to face as a commissioner on coming into this meeting on, you know, why would you do this? Because they feel like you may not be dedicating 100% of your time to the office. And I mean,
oh, it's fair. It's a fair question.
And you and I have, they don't know, you and I have responded to calls all of our adult lives for Wilson County. And so it's not an easy thing because I don't want to put anybody on the spot. But these are just questions that the public has brought up going why. And we have continuously, since I've been in office, tried to get this gentleman more people on the streets. But there is a price. You know, I mean, we know that it costs the taxpayers more money. So having an avenue to have people to be able to help out without it costing the county, I've got to listen. I'm sitting here interested in it. But the transparency of it is, why are we here? What's getting us to where it is?
So if we do this, then are we going to do it for the rest of the company?
And I mean, we would have to develop a policy in my mind for the entirety of all 4 constables to be able to take and do the same thing. And I don't know if the other constables desire that.
This is what I understand. The county does not compute. There's no financial, monetary or financial anything that they're responsible.
I don't think that would carry out true. I think that before it would be done, you would be asking for an increase in your budget because you would see that you need things that are necessary for them to carry out their duties. You already said radio, they're $9,000 a piece. Okay, Motorola.
I've got radios. I've got one from the county. I've got one that I use from the school.
Okay, well, and I mean, I don't know how your office is equipped, but right now you're a force of 1, and so I wouldn't think you would have any more than 1. But, okay, I just, there's always something that will end up.
Well, it's just like anything else.
And that's what I'm saying. This is from living.
Prediction what's going to happen. I can't tell you how that's going to.
First year in office, I lost a transmission on a big piece of equipment, and it just, there's always something.
Evictions are becoming more and more complicated. More and more we're finding out, because I do research, I have a sergeant that does research before the officers go to evict somebody. And we're running into felony warrants, murder warrants, robbery, burglary, automatically. So not only are you trying to get someone there out of the house, but at the same time, the officer's safety. What if this officer gets hurt in an eviction? He's going to be out there alone. So who's going to do the work? So, but the main responsibility, I think, even just to have a bailiff so he can go out there and not be the bailiff, go out there and serve the process. And we're finding out sometimes the judge will order something to be served right away. They're called, for us, they're called hot papers. the judge gives the instruction, hey, I need this paper done now because of certain circumstances. But the thing is, it all comes down to safety. I don't think he can be inside the courtroom while they have court, and then the judge wants a certain paper to be done, and he can't because he has to stay there in court. So who's going to do the work when he has to be in court? Or vice versa. If he goes out in the field, the judge says, I'm going to have so many cases per day. He's going to have to leave wherever he's at to come back and be the bailiff. So I think just as a start with bailiffs, I don't think any of the other constables would argue to have a reserve as the bailiff. You can monitor what qualifications, they have to be certified. You can kind of look at if they have a master peace officer license, how long, and so on and so forth. But I think his main responsibility is to take care of that judge and take care of his safety also. So being a bailiff, I don't know where they hold court, but there has to be. I have, in our office, I have someone that monitors the front while the bailiff is inside the courtroom. So you never know what can happen outside these doors. So just to make it safe for everybody, It's just like the sheriff being present himself while you have Commissioner's Court. This man, he's a peace officer, he's going to make everything safe. And I think that's what Constable Morales is asking. And it's, you can monitor, you can limit to the amount of reserves and so on. So,
And who is doing that for the JP now? You just said you've got a full-time job, so who is it for? I'm asking. Constable Morales. Are you?
There are some courts that I am able to attend. There are some times that I can get the day off from work. My chief, he will allow me to take the day off and go to court. I do most of the truancy courts because that's related to school, so I can kind of get through with that. But this is the reason I come forward to ask for the court security. Basically, it's court security help. That's what I'm asking for. The ability to have reserve deputies and have them on the schedule, and like I told Judge Shaw, to be able to make sure somebody's in his courtroom every time he's got court. Before I retired, and I told him, before I retired from Sheriff's Department, my last 10 years, I served as a bailiff in district court. Those scanners that are downstairs, those two in district court, I and all the people from the county auditor's office were able to get those. I had a big part in building or having input in the cells that's in district court. I worked with the district clerk and the people that built that. So my deal the last 10 years of my career here in Wilson County was the Sheriff's Department, were court security. That is that's a big deal. I enjoy that. We can do this. I can make this court safe if I have the people. All I'm asking is for reserve deputies to help. Basically, they're volunteers. You're not going to pay them. They're not being paid. They don't have insurance. Nothing's got to be supplied to them. A radio. If I even supply them, they're in the Sheriff's Department. That's what the court's being held.
And that's what the constable did know.
Okay.
Precinct 1 is actually in the Sheriff's Department. So with that, well, there's a lot of protection there. The other thing, sir, is that we're 50,000.
The Sheriff's Department is nowhere close our JP.
No. Ours.
Ours.
And the thing is that we're 50,000 and your precinct is 500,000. There's a big difference in logistics. And so, and a big difference on what we can get accomplished as a smaller county.
Yes.
But thank you for coming.
Well, I just want to assist that if I can help in any way. I'm looking at the movement of people moving out to, like, on the south side of San Antonio, we have a lot of unincorporated areas. So now people are starting to move out there, and it's picking up, and the city of San Antonio is not going fast enough to reach out to take care of the law enforcement. And the sheriff patrol in Bexar County is you know, they're asking and asking for more officers and because of the growth. And I think sooner or later it's going to come out to Wilson County also.
Well, we're on a real, we got, Jen, I'm sorry, I'll have to start. Okay, so I would feel comfortable if you would present the county's office a pretty good policy on what you're going to have these reserve officers doing before we move forward. And also the last question I have, and I'm not going to ask you another one, promise. Is it an oversight that these 4 officers are already in TICO? Is that an oversight? That's okay, but
It is.
until we get it approved, we probably need to
It
get
is, Your Honor. Before that, I mentioned, the 4 reserve deputies that I mentioned, and I'll put it this way because we spoke before. I put the cart before the horse. This was before I learned about Chapter 86 in the government code, where I had to come and ask permission to have reserve deputies. I did talk to my TICO rep, and we had discussed whether to have 5 in them and then without wanting them again. He said that was a bad idea because that would just, it would further take too much paperwork. So we kept them on, ordered them to be inactive, and then,
Okay, so they're inactive.
They're inactive. Okay. So pending their, the approval is what I'm waiting on before they even take them up to office.
There was a House bill that was going to allow the very thing, it was going to allow constables to take and have reserve constables without going before the court, and it died, you know.
Yes, sir.
So anyways, in the last legislative session.
Okay.
So is that a table?
Yeah.
Is that a?
I hadn't had a chance yet. Oh, I'll let y'all go because he is my constable. I think most of y'all know, I mean, I've been a reserve deputy with the sheriff's department here for 29 years. And Jimmy, constable now, I've known him for 30 years. And I can't tell you how many times they would call me and go, hey, are you coming out? Because I got to go search some papers and I don't want to go by myself. And that was before COVID, and that was before all these mass shootings occurred. And as Constable Dodd pointed out, I mean, there is a lot of officer security. I know the sheriff would like to have twice as many patrol deputies as he's got to. And I feel, and this is the first time this subject has been broached. I think it owes a good looking at, test run or something to see. As I can tell you, as a sheriff can tell you, I do what he says I can do. I trust that Constable Morales, his people are only going to be allowed to do what they're allowed to do by law. It is a new territory. We are getting bigger. There are a lot more constraints that are fixing to come down the pipe that's going to make it more difficult to serve papers. When people know that you're going to serve papers on them, they tend to hide. I can't tell you, what do? We try 3 days in a row. Once in the morning, once in the afternoon, maybe at lunch if we eat lunch close to where they're at, and you got to return them unserved. And that's not their objective, or law enforcement's objective for that. And some of them are for some of them are for murder warrants.
Yes.
Or as they alluded to, I'm glad, Constable, that you're able to check where you're going to see who lives next door or in the neighborhood, check the sex offender registry or whatever it is y'all do, and you know what you're dealing with. Probably 95% of the time, we don't know who we're going to deal with. They're just walking up hole. You don't know if they're mean, mad, got a gun, one gun or 100 guns, one gun. And it's just a different world that we live in. I think since there's essentially no cost to the county, and if the other constables want to request, I don't think that's a bad thing. You know, I know once you're going out for surgery here pretty soon, so how long are you gonna be out? 6 to 8 weeks, so he's gonna cover his job while he's out on surgery. I mean, we've all got life issues, you know, to deal with at the same time, so, I think we need to take a serious look at it, see how we can make it happen, we can make a test out of it, and see how it goes, and see what people think, and get, you know, responses. But I don't disagree. I would like to see the policy. Well, the revised policy that you would put into effect if you got deputies and have a county insurance officer. I know you've worked closely with them. And the volunteers, I mean, they got to go through background checks and have all their other stuff. They got to have to be a commissioned peace officer. They are commissioned peace officers, so you're not cutting loose a bunch of people that don't know what they're doing or, you know, anything else. So,
And usually we just keep like, it's not just anybody that comes up and says, hey, can you go? No, I gotta know who you are, I gotta know what you, it's not just that kind of, okay, yeah, you. So the versus that few.
Okay, I'd like to see that policy tightened up, because if we're gonna go into that direction, it gives it needs a template for the others. We just have to do that. So if we get to that, what constables across the state of Texas may start to use, but we'd like to see that in the form of.
Well, now there's no need, sir.
And that starts right here. What do you think, man?
I agree with that.
Okay. So we've got someone we start, and we'll just start revising. I will approach with the county attorney's office, and then we'll just start amending.
Yeah, just make sure that the court's clear on what their duties are, what they can and cannot do. I know the police officers, careful because of their working an off-duty job out of town, they have to do. Obviously, you don't want them doing pursuits or anything.
No, and as Councilman Howard alluded to, just as a reserve deputy, the only job they can have is traffic control, construction sites,
Nothing.
things like that. They're not allowed to be in kind of security.
So does the board want to go ahead and just not take any action until he comes back with all this stuff and we look at it again?
you want me to table it?
I think that helps.
Okay. Okay, I'll make.
Okay, now, motion made by Commissioner Mark, seconded by Commissioner Cardova. So now we're open for discussion on this. I want to make sure that if we table this, does that give you enough time to come back with a policy? Because 2 weeks. Yeah, we have to come back in 2 weeks and talk about this.
Sure.
Okay, all right.
It's, the foundation is there, a basic foundation of
That should be too.
and then all we're going to do is amend it and
Get with this now. Okay.
yes, certain sections over this.
Got it. Okay. All right, any other discussion on agenda item number 6? All right, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those against? Motion's carried.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it.
Agenda item number 7, we have Cindy Stafford, Emergency Management. Discuss and take action on a resolution of Wilson County adopting the Wilson County 2025 Hazard Mitigation Action Plan. Morning.
Good morning. So Wilson County started the process of creating our hazard mitigation plan in August of last year when we contracted with H2O to help with this. We had multiple meetings allowing everyone to have input. In the update, we had surveys and kickoff meeting and 2 public meetings. The plan covers Wilson County, all 4 cities, and all 4 ISDs, and they've all had an opportunity to put forth any mitigation actions that they chose. The plan has now been approved by TM, and it's been approved by FEMA, pending formal adoption by the county. So that's what I'm requesting, is that y'all adopt the resolution for the 2025 Hazard Mitigation Action Plan. Can I can read the resolution?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Whereas Wilson County recognizes the threat that natural hazards pose to people, property within Wilson County, and whereas the County of Wilson has prepared a multi-hazard mitigation plan, hereby known as Wilson County 2025 Hazard Mitigation Action Plan in accordance with the Disaster Mitigation Act of 2000. And whereas Wilson County 2025 Hazard Mitigation Plan identifies mitigation goals and actions to reduce or eliminate long-term risks to people and property in Wilson County from the impacts of future hazards and disasters. And whereas adoption by the Commissioners Court demonstrates their commitment to hazard mitigation and achieving the goals outlined in the Wilson County 2025 Mitigation Action Plan. Now therefore be it resolved by Wilson County, Texas, that the Wilson County Commissioners Court adopts the Wilson County 2025 Hazard Mitigation Action Plan. This plan approved by the community may be edited or amended after submission for review, but will not require the community to re-adopt any further iteration. This only applies to the specific plan and does not absolve the community from updating the plan in 5 years.
Commissioner Coe, entertain a motion on agenda item number 7. Adopt.
Make a motion that we adopt the resolution in regards to the Wilson County Hazard Mitigation Action Plan. Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Aiken, seconded by Commissioner Martin. Do you have any other discussion regarding agenda item number 7?
Can you give me a hard copy?
Yes, sir. A hard copy will be released once we get proper approval. We can't take that draft stamp off until FEMA solves it and it goes to everyone, especially the auditors and state records.
All right. Call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against, nay. Ayes have it. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Move to agenda item number 8, discuss and take action on approval of proposal from Guardian Security Solutions for access control to the district courthouse and the sheriff's office per Sheriff Ginsburg.
Yes, Judge. So Sheriff Stewart and I met last week. He brought me 2 proposals from Guardian Security Solutions. One is for the district courthouse building, the annex building, and the other one is for the sheriff's department on the jail side. This is to provide access control, and if you have questions, because I told him I was going to put him on the spot, so he could explain in more depth of what it is. But I did want to tell you the cost for the district court installation, and all that includes, is $13,658.96, and for the jail, it is $18,013.21. I recommended to the sheriff that we do still have funding available in our non-departmental for courthouse building upgrades and renovations. And since neither the district court or the sheriff budgeted specifically for this, I would recommend that we pay it out of the non-departmental line item, and then we can budget accordingly for the annual services that it's going to cost us.
What was the first amount?
The first amount for the district court building,
$13,000.
$13,658.96, and for the jail is $18,013.21, and Guardian Solutions is on the buy board as well, so we did not have to go out for bids for this. Sure.
Sheriff, anything to add?
This also is the same company that is currently doing our camera systems from Whole County.
All compatible.
They are also the contractor that's going to supply the same service to the new Emergency Operations Center building, which you mentioned compatible with my office also. It does that. The only thing on this that I have to change or make you aware of is that the sheriff's office, we've been asked to get a detailed proposal for all the work done. This is like a broad quote. I believe they may have left a door or 2 out at the sheriff's office that I would like to have control access to. So it may increase a little bit on the budget
on that 18,000 because in a couple of doors, I think we have out that I really think we need to control assets. I think there's a problem with that.
Yeah, if you would consider the motion to approve the not to exceed amount, that would help me know that you don't have to bring it back to the court.
What's your amount not to exceed? If I was just doubling on the other, I think they're showing 4 doors at $4,000 something dollars on the deal. If we say 8, but I don't think it's going to be 4 more. If I double that, it'd be another $4,500. So 31,000, 32,000 plus 45, 36,
I would say maybe not to exceed 40,000.
40. That is.
And if it's above that, then I can bring it back to the court for approval.
And the other thing about this also is that I think they're going to be fixing to install in the EOC not too long, so that would put them in the area. Same time to do everything at one time. All right, Commissioner Bonner, can a motion on agenda item number 8 not to exceed 40,000?
Make a motion that we accept the proposal from Guardian Security Solutions to be able to provide the services to the district courthouse and the sheriff's office not to exceed $40,000.
Coming from
Funds be pulled from the non-departmental funds.
Just want to make sure Gail does. All right, motion made by Commissioner Aiken, seconded by Commissioner Cordova. Any other discussion going on agenda item number 8? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against nay. And move to agenda item number 9, discuss the status of the 81st 218 medical examiner's office construction and the decision made at Wilson, Harrisburg, Clarence, Rio, and South. And Ms. Lewis, I see you're here. I'm going to call you up there in a minute. It's going to go through a very short what happened that day. So we have moved forward.
the actual posting for that meeting was a support meeting between the Atascosa County Commissioners Court and the 281st Inmates Office Board of Directors is the way that meeting was posted. I'm assuming you're talking about the same meeting that occurred at 9 a.m. that morning.
I am talking about the same one.
I just wanted to clarify that it wasn't a judge's meeting, it was a meeting with the local county or with the board of directors.
And so for clarification, all the judges in this district were in attendance. Okay. All right. So before we can move forward, there had been a decision made whether or not we're going to do the toxicology, and that has since been resolved. Come on up, so it's more.
Morning.
So the concern at the time, which I think we resolved, was we were losing the budget on the building, correct?
We're still working. There's
Could go down.
actually a construction committee meeting this week to try to finalize that. Plans have been finalized, the bids have been submitted, the contractor has been selected. All of the contractors came in above the grant allotment. However, the contractor that's been selected seems to be saying he's going to negotiate that to where we would be within the parameters of the grant award. And so, you know, we are given a golden opportunity that 70% of the state of Texas does not have and wishes they did, which is we're going to have a new facility built at taxpayer. I mean, all the taxpayers spent is grant money that's been funded by the state.
So it's been voted on, and we're past that now. Construction is going to be underway. It won't be for another maybe 2 years, 3 years before it's completed, correct?
It should not be that long.
Okay.
The construction should be completed.
The only other concern some of the judges had, me, I'm one, was the portion that we had to pay, and now we're working on that, our annual payment. So we've gone from almost $1 million a year, and now we're down to $458,000, correct? So, pardon, $38,000.
435.
Okay, so
But that is something that the board of directors has been designated. County judges wanted the construction committee to be Atascosa County because Atascosa County is ultimately fiscally responsible for the reimbursement for all of that construction costs.
they're donating the money.
And so, right. And so, but the board of directors is who will be responsible for things such as hiring the chief medical examiner, coming up with that operating budget and finalizing it. What you guys had when we first committed to moving forward with this project and sending it to the governor's office was really just a draft. And that really is a full bore operating budget of 2 medical examiners, assuming that we are going to have lots of business from surrounding counties, which I still think that is very feasible because we get calls asking, when is your facility going to be open? Because we need help. So it will be down the road. So that's why there is no, we have drafts of different operating budgets, but that will be finalized, like we haven't broken ground yet.
Correct.
So, the budget needs to come after we get kind of along the road to where we're getting close to knowing when we need an operating budget.
There's a few little things in that second budget you put in that I think that probably was left off. Utilities, I think there's a vehicle side in there. You might want to look that over. It's not going to be a whole lot. I'm looking at maybe $200,000 more increase on things that they left off. But that's down the road. We can look at that and figure it out.
Right.
Okay. All right.
Yes. That was proposed. The consultant is the chief medical examiner from another county who's graciously provided us with services. And so, he's using his budget and then scaling it down to our size to try to get that within our operation. And again, you're right. I mean, we're talking a year, maybe a year and a half down the road that we would even start this process. And then it would be a slow process of, it's like anything else. We're starting something brand new. So we need to get chief medical examiner, and then from there, hire.
And we all know they're not making many of those anymore, are they?
No, I wish they were.
Don't have any questions.
So what Wilson County's your cost going to be?
Well, the short answer is we don't know.
We don't know yet.
But Mr. Wood, there is a, yeah.
Yes.
38.
438. And that's down from 823,027.
Which is what we talked about in 2023 when I brought y'all the proposed operating budget.
But we're semi-confident that we may have an operations grant fee for at least maybe a year.
We will absolutely apply for grant funding, and there is a federal grant that also can be applied for. So the problem with grants is you can't really.
Is there anything I can do? I can go to the governor's office, I'll work for him and ask him to see if there's anything out of OLS that can come out and help out with that.
Well, I think that that's feasible, but we don't have to. Same as I told you guys back in 2023, and I'm really glad that I did it that way because, back then y'all were asking me, are you going to ask for the operating budget? I said, we can't ask for it because we send it. Because first we have to have a building. So that's still going to be an opportunity.
That's down the road. We can
Right. So we will, whatever funding opportunities there are, we will absolutely be seeking those. And I think the governor's office recognizes the need for South Texas. We need medical examiner facilities. So.
Okay.
What are we spending right now on autopsies?
We average $43,000 a year on an average of 11 to 12 autopsies.
And I will tell you that is extremely low. Wilson County should have about 50 autopsies based on its population. And the problem that you run across when you don't have an ending system is you run across everyone has had a loved one that's passed away, and they wonder what really happened to them. And that is what medical examiners provides to you. A friend of mine had his father pass away while he was in the middle of aerating his yard. And luckily, they were in a place where they had a medical examiner who performed an autopsy and found out he had an aneurysm. And so now the family can move forward knowing that medical history for the rest of their family. And those things are overlooked when you don't have a regional immune system. And so autopsies are missed because every unattended death, legally, when you have a regional immune office, has to receive an autopsy. Because there's always times that you may think wrong. And it could be a murder that you thought was suicide. And that's why medical examiners are important, and you don't want to get that wrong, even once.
So in that category, homicide.
We recognize that more than
Therapy. In that category, not homicide, where someone we don't know, we can provide that out of our pocket, or can the family pay? This can say, can I have y'all do the autopsy paid for? They do that now.
the families are paying for it though?
If they ask,
Yes, they do.
if the JP is determined that there's not gonna be one call for it, if the family asks for it, they can pay for it.
Right, that would not happen. There would be no family required to find out what happened to their loved one. They would have to pay to know the answers.
Well, you're back into every unintended death under the new system, which automatically trigger an autopsy.
Right, and that's, I mean, that's the law, it's statutory, so.
Well, and I mean, also there was discussion around, there's probably even other autopsies that need or should have been done, but, they're questionable, or maybe things change. Because I believe all the sheriffs indicated that probably, maybe we're only doing 50% from that perspective, if I remember the numbers correctly. So there will be an increase in business. And the nice thing is it will be right here with less than an hour drive. So all of our investigators that have to go over there and witness autopsies, our DA's investigators, our DA's office attorneys, and everybody else will only have a very short. I guess Garden City is really the farthest away. Because it's just, yeah, they're both, they got to kind of circuitous route to get there, but it'll still put them right at an hour.
It's still better than 3 hours or 2 hours, which is what we're at the mercy of at the
And
moment.
that's one way. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's an all-day thing, and then the examiner is going to close the door shut. We have no way of knowing that. We're using a private person right now who he's retired, and he could decide he wants to stay retired and close his doors next week. We have no way of knowing that. So it's guaranteed services for our community members. So. And the pro rata is the same as what you pay for my office, which is 35 and some change. So we will meet as a board of directors as I want to get ground broken first. Like let's get up some progress with the bills.
You
Because
got that out of the way, that's ready to go.
well, it hasn't been finalized yet. That's what the final thing is. So, but yes, like all the, from what I heard, not all, I guess there's one that doesn't, but there was 4 that said we want to move forward with the building because it is $10 million that we're either walking away and leaving on the table or moving forward.
We don't want to do
So
Okay. Are you on the construction committee?
I sit as an advisor because I'm the authorized official on the grant.
Okay, I'll give you a call later. I have some questions about one of the things that they mentioned that they were looking at us, particularly changing from copper wire to aluminum. I think in the medical examiner's office, I just think that's a bad mistake. And I know there's a couple of people shaking their heads back there. I'm not sure whether that's either for or against, but this is a this project needs to stay up and running. There's been problems with aluminum wire. I realize it's allowed in the code, but I would be curious to see if what your insurance would be if you had copper wire versus aluminum wire. I think that'll be something that they take into account when they look at what the insurance cost is.
Yeah, I'm happy to have that discussion with you, and I'll take good notes and make sure we.
I heard him say that, and that raised my eyebrows. We're building a mobile home here, or is it an ME zone?
Mm-hmm. I know, I think there's some things that we just don't want to shortchange. I mean, we want this to be a facility that lasts us decades to come. So,
When do you foresee our first meeting?
first, I want to get ground broken on the building. And I don't know when that is yet. So I think as soon as we start getting that process going and getting word from the contractor, the cost change, so I think we need to kind of get that ball rolling first.
Where is that number? Where's it at?
It's behind JP1, it's in Pleasanton, so if you go on 281, if you took 97 to 281, you take a right, and you'll see the Justice of the Peace office. I encourage you to come up, there's nice amount
I
of.
never asked, I never knew where it was from.
Yes, it's behind the JP office.
Okay. All right, any other questions, Mr.
Yeah, the short answer is if they can have this construction meeting and get the contract lined out, I would expect that would go to the Tax Commissioner's Court, whatever the slide 12 or whatever
Right, whatever it is.
the next court meeting is, and then this contractor gets figured out. So I think it could be as early as August, and probably September would be my guess if everything
I'm praying before August. Yes, yes.
All right, yeah.
You know, we have to ask for a grant extension, and I really think that it would show good faith if we could have broken ground before we're begging for more time. So,
All right. Appreciate the hard work.
I am. Thank you.
And item number 10, information is your own, we have our county attorney. Review and take action to enter into a contract to sell the northwest corner of FM 537 and FM 427, Floresville, Wilson County, to Juan and Yolanda Donanda.
Yes, I believe Evelyn has provided the contract and the necessary documents we had previously discussed about that corner tract of land, and that we are requesting that we be able to take action on that. The terms that were previously discussed, that we would check to see what it was appraised at, and based on the appraised amount, the buyer agreed that he would pay the appraised amount plus any closing costs.
On the seller, I think she needs to, I know she was used it to propose, but I think she's got the wrong information on the seller.
I'll go ahead and make those changes. I can just do it in Adobe.
What are you referring to right there?
I'm sorry.
On the seller part, what?
It was just a
So Phil,
fill-in land company.
Okay.
And this will be a cash deal.
I believe so.
is the appraisal in here?
No,
I didn't see it.
no, we looked at it before.
It wasn't much.
It was a little more than that, but
Application purchase price is $6,000
I believe so.
plus closing costs.
All right, Commissioner, I'll entertain a motion for agenda item number 10.
I'll make a motion to sell the corner tract at 537 and 427 in Wilson County to Juan and Yolanda Miranda for $6,000.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Martin, seconded by Commissioner Curdo. Any other discussion regarding agenda item number 10?
Plus closing costs.
It's in there now. All right, any other discussion? Hearing none, call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against, nay. Ayes have it, motion passes. And item number 11, with Brenda Trevino, County Auditor, discuss and take action on appointing Don Alonzo Barnett, Wilson County Tax Assessor Collector, as designated officer to calculate the NNR and DAR tax rates and be responsible for updating the property tax database for tax code 26.04C.
Judge, this is the yearly request every year. The court must designate the officer to calculate the no new revenue and voter approval rate and update the property tax database. And so I'm asking your consideration on appointing Don Washington Barnett, our Wilson County tax assessor, who has been for us previously.
All right. I'll entertain a motion on agenda item number 11.
Make a motion, go ahead, sir. Make a motion that we appoint Don Washington Barnett, who is the Wilson County Tax Assessor Collector, as our designated officer, to calculate PNR and VAR tax rates and be responsible for updating the property tax database per tax code 26.04, section C.
Motion made by Commissioner Aiken, seconded by Commissioner Cordova. Is there any other discussion regarding agenda item number 11? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against, nay. Ayes have it, motion passes. Agenda item number 12, we have Gary Martin, Commissioner Precinct 1, discuss and take action on revising Wilson County Court Decorum rules.
Yeah, and I should have said Commissioners Court. So I included in the packet the last ones that were adopted in 2019. We had some issues that came up earlier this year with some of the commenters. So I asked the county attorney's office to take a look at this, as we're finding out we're having to adapt and improvise, so to speak. And so included in the middle between the current and the proposed, which is basically what we had as of last week, we're finding out that there's some other things we probably need to address in here that were addressed in the latest comments. So I don't know, Ms. Middle, are you prepared to talk on this? Or no?
Yes.
Okay.
So and I believe it sent out to all of the commissioners as far as tax new proposals, the form of boilerplate view on this. However, with the upcoming changes, we are suggesting maybe including a few other items. Some of those things would just change slightly on comments that can be made or not made in discussion. And if we could possibly tweak that so that we don't have to continue to amend that, that might be of assistance.
And I guess, do you have enough information on what those changes are going to be, and we can go ahead and make them in the next?
Yes.
Okay. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to suggest, because this just came up, I guess Thursday afternoon, Friday morning, actually Thursday afternoon, I guess it was, or no, Wednesday afternoon, which was after the deadline for agenda items. So I think probably the best thing to do is I'll look this over. If you have any questions or comments, send them to Ms. Huron, and then we can address it at the next quarter.
So you want to
Do
take
you want to table it, Commissioner?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Because I think they need to give us their recommendations first, and then that way we can look at them and see if there's any questions.
Making a motion.
On discussion and action on the Wilson County Commissioner's Court report.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Martin, seconded by Commissioner Cordova. I'm sorry, Aiken. There's no discussion on this. I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against, motion passes to carry. And item number 13, again, we have Commissioner Martin discuss take action on obtaining bids for the Mariana Road project in Precinct 1.
Okay, so I had plans prepared to rebuild this subdivision road. Included in your packet is the schedule, and so we'll advertise it starting as soon as possible, twice. Bids will be due at the Commissioner's Court on July 28th, at which time we will work the contract. Or each time that bids will be open and read aloud, we'll allow the consulting engineer to review bids, and then at the next available Commissioner's Court, we will award the contract.
I'll entertain a motion for agenda item number 13.
I'll make a motion to approve obtaining bids for the Mariana Road project in precinct 1.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Martin, seconded by Commissioner Carroll. Any other discussion? Sorry, go ahead.
I just, do y'all have any questions? I mean, I'm basically, this is similar to the project that we did 2 years ago now. County Road, it follows the same procedure, same specifications.
Other questions? I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those against, ayes have it, motion passes. Then item number 14, we have Mr. Ray Adams, Veteran Service Officer, for 2024-25 third quarter.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners. Third quarter, here we are, 2024, 2025. Next slide, please. Our mission stays the same, bridging the gap between military service members, veterans, and dependent benefits to maximize entitlements. We do this with VA compensation, appeals, pension, survivors benefits, education, burial, state, local, and entitlements. So this is what I have left from last fiscal year. I still have some things pending. I believe last quarter we had 105 still pending from last fiscal year that I'm bringing on to this year. Now we're at 26, so we are slowly cutting those down, and that's just depicted on the decisions from the VA. Next slide. So this is year to date within this, or not year to date, this is for this, year to date for this fiscal year, 454 veterans, constituents being served. Those are the ones that result in action. Nothing's changed. Floresville is the bulk of our population. La Vernia not far behind it, and precinct 1 and 4 are consistently very similar, the same in numbers. Next slide. Number of forms and claims by precinct, again 677. Total forms, claims 1,964. Next slide, please. Part of my quarterly report is to bring veterans here to give personal testimonies. This is not just to highlight what the office is doing, but this is to raise awareness for my community, within the veteran community, and just people within Wilson County. They might hear something from the veteran that gives testimony, and they might be in a similar situation or know somebody that can benefit from our office. So without further ado, I have retired Army veteran Colonel Kenneth Gray. A little bit about Mr. Gray is he came to me to file his initial claim. I say all the time, it's not out of the norm to get somebody that has never been affiliated with the VA to come by my office, and we see that on a weekly basis. Mr. Gray is one of those veterans. Just hesitant about pursuing entitlements for whatever reason, but I'm glad he was able to stop by our office.
Good morning. Just a little bit about my background. I'm a retired Army Colonel. Spent 26 years in the Army, been retired now about 24. And being an Army officer, we were very reluctant to go on sick calls. But a lot of things when it comes to dealing with the VA, you got to have something in your record to show that you actually got an injury or something. But me being an officer, like most officers, we didn't go on sick call because if you went on sick call, you considered a wimp and you didn't get a good job. So if you wanted a career in the Army, you couldn't have any profile. So so I had very little of my record. But my wife was a retired Army also, so she kind of pushed me. So I come to see Ray, and Ray went through my records, went with me, and got me to pick out stuff because a lot of crime was involved. I got out, I thought I was a healthy person, but Ray, no, I'm not that healthy. I look healthy, but that's a lot of stuff going on. But Ray was able to pick out those things, point it out, and able me to get some compensation, which I used to say, well, I don't need it, and I'm not entitled to it, but then again, no, I am entitled to it. I've served my country for 26 years, and so I'm not getting anything that I'm not entitled to that I don't deserve. But he was able to give me something that I actually deserve, and I'm very grateful for that, because he does a great job, and I don't know, he's a very good asset to all the veterans here, and also to myself, and just all the veterans here. I wish we had more people like Ray serving and supporting our veterans.
Thank you for your service, Colonel.
Thank you, sir. Well,
Colonel, do you remember meeting about 5 or 6 months ago at the tax assessor's office, your wife and I, and you started talking at the window?
I did.
And I told you
Yes,
Go
he
see
told me
this
that, yes,
man
yes.
because he will take him up.
Yes, and he did that. I'm very appreciative of that.
Well, and we're proud of our program. We're proud of the work that Mr. Guerrero is doing here.
And y'all, thank you. He does a lot, but he takes a personal interest. He took a personal interest in me. He did me well, and I really appreciate it. I'll always be grateful for him.
Thank you, Colonel Gregg. That's just a slight testimony to what Wilson County is doing. You guys offer this opportunities for our veterans. I'm just a vehicle, and I appreciate that, and this is what we are doing to serve our veterans. Next slide, please. Okay, number of constituents by contact. So the blue bars is going to be resulted in action. Again, this is when they come to the office, and we actually file some paperwork and expect some results. So a total of 338, break down by appointments, emails, and walk-ins. We don't take walk-ins. I'm by appointment only, but obviously we do make exceptions. Last minute things canceled, somebody comes in, and we'll take them if all possible. Interactions from VetPro. This is a database that we utilize. This is where we do our claims management and document pretty much every single interaction that I have with a constituent with our community, whether it be veteran or non. Documented. So this is within this quarter, right, third quarter of 1,143. Next slide, please. New and returning. So I document this. Total for this year to date is 453, 52. And we work on either appeals or other actions. So we still count them, but we just want to, have an understanding of new people coming in and coming back within that quarter. The pie to the right, we have 336 cases within this quarter already closed, and 119 to include those 26 from last quarter still open. Next slide, please. I want to talk about this veteran. So this is veteran Bowler, and he is located at the Lavernia Nursing Home. I think it's Country Manor, I believe. He cannot, Country Care, yes. He cannot be here today for obvious health reasons, but something unique about our office and how we provide service is that we go to the veteran. We go to their homes, we go to the nursing homes. Not every service office does that, right? But I take pride in being able to offer that type of unique service. This is one veteran, a little background about him. He is in a sense, a famous Tennessee radio host, and he's also a veteran. He actually did that in the service. He worked some with the radio service and communications within the military. When he got out, he extended that. And, he actually sings. I wanted to bring the tree and have him sing today, but he couldn't make it. But I do have a recording of him, and if he wanted to provide his own testimony, I did record him because it's important. It's important for us, for me to highlight the veterans' voices within our community.
It was very Bullard, currently in an assisted living home in Lavernia, Texas. I was designated 50% disabled, and I was curious if I could get that raised to perhaps 100%. I contacted the local rep in our building here, and she gave me the name of the local VA rep, Mr. Ray Herrera. And in a few days, Mr. Herrera came over to visit me. We had a very interesting conversation. I told him I was in Vietnam in 1965, and he said, slapped his hand and said, slam dunk. Agent Orange. I said, yeah, I was at Pontoon Air Base. From there on, Mr. Herrera set the ball rolling. And I subsequently got some emails from the VA setting up different appointments, audiology and different things. And Mr. Herrera gave me advice all along the way. Recently, I started the ball rolling And just recently, I received a message from VA that I had sent into their site that my request for 100% was granted. I am so thankful to Mr. Herrera and to VA for being so attentive to the rights groups. I would recommend Mr. Herrera to anyone. He is one of your top-notch people. I would certainly advise anybody to go along with him. I'm very happy with this service. Thank you very much.
Mr. Bowler is suffering from cancer that's very famously known, caused by Agent Orange. So just like many veterans, he's been fighting his cancer, and it's looked like he's on the positive end of this battle. So this is just part of the processes that I assist with veterans, and be it Mr. Bowler's testimony. Next slide, please. Something new I'm incorporating into my presentation, which has taken time to really generate and provide some valid data, is our social media. This is the way we're able to communicate, provide information, changes in the VA policies, events within the community, and just collaborating between partners, veteran and non. So engagements, we have 2,412. How many views of things that we post, the content, 46,630. I thought something unique was, giving some age data. Between 45 and 54, that's the highest people who are communicating or engaging with social media, with my office at least. Other things are going to be locations. It looks like my Lavernians are a little bit more tech savvy, but Floresville is not far behind. Next slide. So events, community engagement, this is just going to be some pictures. What we've been doing within this fiscal year, we've had a lot of events happen, and I just want to highlight those because they're very important as to our advocating for our veterans. First one is we didn't host, but we collaborated with the Floresville City Council members, SBA, to bring in a financial literacy about SBA and the program, starting businesses, things of that nature. So we're just there. We hosted the table there to support. Next slide. Next picture. This is Veterans Day at the Lavernia Historical Veterans Memorial, which they just got the finishing touches on the monument. If you haven't visited, I'm sure they're going to have an opening presentation in regards to that. So that was Veterans Day out in the community again, just supporting our veterans and events. Next slide. If any of you guys have not had the pleasure to meet Mr. Levi Kep, super awesome person. He just loves what he does. He is employed with Frank Tejeda Veterans Home for the States, and he oversees everything at Frank Tejeda. So we kind of collaborated and did the Marine for Tots, Toys for Tots. And this coming year, we want to do something different. We're able to get toys, and send them back into San Antonio where they have a collection of, toys where a lot of people go through. This year, coming year, I know we talked about it. We're just going to talk about the finishing touches. We want to do something more local. So this coming Christmas, if you're looking for opportunities, please reach out to the Veterans Home or the Frank Tejeda, and we are going to accept donations to give them out to our community here more locally. Next slide, please. We host our Veterans Breakfast. It still hasn't changed. Typically, we have no less than 100 people in attendance. This is the first time we hosted at the VFW in Polk, which I was pretty honored to have it there, very supportive with our commander down there. And we had a guest speaker, none other than George Washington. It was pretty awesome. So we have guest speakers to give some type of veteran-related testimony or information. And at this one, we have George Washington. Next slide. We also are still continuing our Wilson County Veterans Coalition. This is a group of veterans within the community, in nonprofits, local VFWs, American Legions, and other organizations, also business owners, who are here to support veterans. So we're just here to collaborate, bounce ideas, and support each other, key to our success. Next slide. This is a Orlando deal. We had a Homes for Troops event. You guys did not catch it on our social media. We had a veteran out here in collaboration with the VA where they were able to host a mortgage-free home to the veteran and his family. So we were there. I'm on the far left. You can't really see me. I try to stay out of the picture. But we're just there to volunteer. We put down the grass, we did plants, and they had an opening ceremony later. It was just awesome to be there with the community and veterans that support. Next slide. Here we have, I was asked to give testimony in support of HB 2193, which is a bill to allow the state to do a study specifically to cover rural areas and how the growing population and the services that are needed to address those growing populations. So I was here at the state capitol giving testimony, which is a pretty awesome, first time unique experience and I had the privilege to do. Next slide. This is I Am Vet event. So I Am Vet is a California nonprofit. They travel the nation, right, to raise suicide veteran suicide awareness. And I was asked again to give testimony, again, on a national scale, to provide feedback on veteran suicide. We do have that posted on our Facebook. If you were not able to catch it, I gave some good data about veterans and veteran suicide. First time we got to partner with our Veterans Barbecue in collaboration with the Peanut Festival, Floresville Peanut Festival. I want to give kudos to Nicole first, who I was working with directly to co-host this. She did an amazing job. I was more just like her assistant in the process. But it was just good to bring two communities together, the veteran community and the Peanut Festival community, and collaborate again just to bring more awareness to veterans and support each other within the community. Right here we have the VFW 9186 in partnership with the Purple Heart, one of the Purple Heart of San Antonio, which is the biggest chapter in the nation. They did this awesome statue. I remember when I was a DSO back in Bear County about 4 or 5 years ago, initially talking about it, and they had a clay model, a little small clay model, and like, this is what we're trying to do eventually. So it's awesome to see this come to life. This is an unveiling of veterans, and if you look at it, maybe only a veteran would know, but you have a World War II veteran, a Vietnam veteran in the center, and a Gulf War veteran at towards the left. And this is just taking our work that we've been through and how brotherhood and sisterhood as the last soldier is also a female, and what we do for our nation. So it's awesome to see that. Here we have another Memorial Day here at the Lodge in Livonia. It was pretty unique because we got to have a general come out and speak. Again, we're just there to support the community and the veterans. Next slide, please. Here we were able to collaborate with KSAT. It was an awesome opportunity just to talk about veteran services and its importance as a whole. So although I captured that here for you guys within Wilson County, I want to also help that, in a broader spectrum. Testifying at the state capitol, working on nationwide possibilities, right? And I'm doing this again here locally. So just raising awareness on veteran services and how to connect with those veteran services is important. Next slide. I guess I'll talk about it until we get it up on the screen, but you guys have it in front of you on your return on investment. So right here we have a total for the fiscal year to date, 2024-2025. We have $2,665,839.89. I just want to capture something that I think is really important. The end of last fiscal year, we ended at 2.3. We're at the third quarter, and we're already at 2.6 million in services or compensation that we assisted with veterans. We exceeded exceeded the department budget by 2,171%, and our target goal for this fiscal year was 1.5 million, and we've already exceeded that by 177%. I remember when I first interviewed for this position, one thing I did confidently say is, you know, I'm used to hitting numbers at like 3 million, right? And that was one thing that was really good, I think, in my interview, and we're on that route to hit that marker. And that's after we had a good year under our belt to provide those numbers. Next slide. So I did a few projections, just for the fiscal year. I'll add later for next fiscal year and what we project. But constituents served that resulted in action 504. Total constituents served, we're projecting at about 3,254 as a whole, right? And then our ROI, again, we're looking at exceeding that 3 million mark. Next slide, please. Our goals is very consistent, and with the support of the judge and the commissioner's support, we've been able to, you know, already achieve a lot of these investments in the existing potential partnerships and veterans-related organizations that are aligned with our current dynamics and what we're able to do. Implement ongoing training and procedures to better case manage. I mean, that's constantly changing. I'm constantly looking at different ways. Sometimes we've got to fall back a little bit for a long vision. Branding and marketing. You saw the social media numbers. I think that was pretty good. It speaks for itself that we are marketing, doing our part through KSAT, through local news, through our social media sites. Canceled and rescheduled appointments. Last quarter we had like around 45. This quarter we have 31. Confidentiality and space and personal dynamics. Again, with the support of the commissioner's support and the judge, we have achieved that in our current dynamics. We do have office space for our 2 employees, and it's working well. Training and certification pending. Final exam for our employee Natalie Howard. She has 1 year to get certified through the Texas Veterans Commission, and she's now on par, and we're just waiting that last examination, and she should be good. Our vision: self-sustaining, streamlined veterans department, adequate department to service our growing veteran population, department ability to offer more timely and accessible resources is still our vision, and working every day to fulfill that. That's the end of my presentation. I appreciate you guys' time.
Thank you, sir.
Rick, I want to let you go. Did we mention anything to the court about the grant that we got, or do we want to do that in the next presentation?
I did mention it previously in a couple courts back. Just to touch base on it, we have been approved for the TDC grant for, I believe it's $210,000, $215,000. And honestly, that could not be possible without the support from Brenda and her office, so we do appreciate that. Again, this is at no cost to the county, although it's a reimbursement grant, right? We are looking at bringing on a grant that will possibly, more than likely, assist with things like utilities, mortgage payment, rent, some vehicle work and stuff like that. Again, trying to find different avenues to assist veterans through a reimbursement grant.
They come with a funded person too as well?
That comes within the grant, yes. So you can budget through the grant a full-time personnel to take over and process all the paperwork and everything for that grant. That would be something that my office would oversee.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Just to follow up with Ray mentioned to you guys, if you remember back in November last year, the court approved for us to apply for that grant through TDC. And so Ray's office, Ray, myself, and Kayla, we've met several times, and so what he said is after we were awarded the $215,000 by July 14th. I was hoping to have it for today's court, but TDC is a little delayed on producing the official notice of grant award. So on July 14th, I'm hoping to be able to bring that notice of grant award to you for acceptance. And then once you accept it, then at that time we'll move forward with implementing the new program for Wilson County. And we're very excited because this is going to be a new program and first time for the county So we'll have more details of what that's gonna look like once, we get the official notice from the board.
Thank you, continue to press support. Thank you for taking care of our veterans.
So thank you for, it's an honor to be privileged to do so. Thank you.
And item number 15 is Galen Barker, Human Resource Specialist, discuss and take action on renewing the county health insurance plan with Blue Cross Blue Shield Texas Association of Counties.
Good morning. In May, TAC came and met with us regarding our plan review and mid-year review on that plan. I also listened to a webinar that TAC put on regarding what the pool amount was going to be needed for the pool to move forward and function for the upcoming fiscal year. The pool needed amount for TAC was a 6% increase across all counties that are in the pool. On our mid-year review, we had a loss ratio for claims at 58.05%, which is extremely good, but we only have 7 months of data because when we started that plan in October. It is trending higher, which that's not something that we want to see, but at this point it is what it is. With that being said, TAC, we received on our current plan. That would be an increase of $49.24 per employee per month. Most of our employees have dependent coverage, which would be employee child. We're looking at an increase on that one for our employees at $19.66 per month. Employee spouse would be an increase of $42.76 per month, and anyone with employee family would be $71.76 per month. The plan is not changing. It is the same plan that we're currently on, but it does entail a 6.2% increase.
So now this will be the same prescription.
Nothing will change.
And this is just at the end of the current fiscal year, or? It's all fiscal year,
No, we won't go out for bids this year. Typically, we don't like to go out for bids unless it's every 2 years because we don't even have the claim data to be able to go out for bids. This is the lowest increase that Wilson County has seen since I have been employed here. TAC across the board, their increases were anywhere from 4% to 14%, so we were on the lower end of that.
Hey, Commissioners, I'll entertain a motion on agenda item number 15.
I'll make a motion that we accept the county health insurance plan increase from Blue Cross Blue Shield through TAC counties as presented by Mrs. Bob.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Hickey, seconded by Commissioner Martin. Any other discussion on agenda item number 15? Hearing none, call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against nay. Ayes have it. Motion passes.
Thank you for the contract re-sign afterwards.
We'll see you back up there again. Yeah, okay. Agenda item number 16, a discussion and/or possible action regarding the renewal of the 2-year term of office for Ms. Gloria M. to continue serving on the Board of Trustees for Community Reality Community Services representing Wilson County. Any of y'all want to come up and talk about that?
Good morning. I'm Veronica Sanchez. I'm the Executive Director for Community Reality Community Services. I want to thank you for your time and consideration of our request. We have a 9-member Board of Trustees, and representation generally is appointed by the Commissioners Court of each sponsoring county. Wilson County, this past 2 years, had appointed Gloria Cantu, Gloria Barras Cantu, and we are asking for consideration of a reappointment. What that involves is also in terms of participation on our board. Each member participates in monthly meetings. Meetings are held in Lytle, Texas, which is our headquarters, and sometimes they go a little long, but generally, and Sheriff Stewart has been very gracious and has participated as well. He gets to participate via video conference, and thank you so much, sir. We appreciate it. So we have monthly meetings, and it's an opportunity for your representative to be able to provide feedback in terms of whatever they perceive our community needs or what you're hearing out in the communities in terms of services for those persons with mental illness, severe and persistent mental illness, or persons with intellectual and developmental disabilities. We also have an early childhood intervention program, so we do serve a population of babies ages as early as 0 right after birth through the age of 3. We have 6 offices here in Wilson County. So we are asking for reappointment of your current board member representative.
Just to be clear, that's Mayor Cantu. She personally told me she would like to serve. I will entertain a motion on agenda item number 16.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cardillo, seconded by Commissioner Aiken. Any other discussion going on agenda item number 16? Hearing none, call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against? Ayes have it, motion passes.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
We'll move to agenda item number 17. Ms. Serato is not here with us. We have Liz here to talk about 17A non-standard plats and variances. Let's take A1 and 2 together. 1 being FM 536-6706, Precinct 1, Williams, discuss and take action. 2, County Road 326-990, Precinct 1, COSA, discuss and take action.
For the Williams, we had a call department happen that about the operating committee.
Commissioner, you don't mind doing both those at the one time?
No.
Okay, very good. I'll entertain a motion for 17A1 and 2.
I'll make the motion. No, I'm struggling with this because I'm really getting sick and tired of the variances. I think the service to the county and community really messes up some assets. So actually, I'm going to make a motion to deny the variances for FM 536-6706 Precinct 1 Williams and County Road 326-990. Okay, not still. I'm still, it's still a variance.
We have a motion to not accept 17A1 and 2. Do I have a second? And I'll call for a second vote. Is there a second to this motion? Hearing none, the motion dies. We're back to, again, is there a motion to approve 17A1 and 2?
I know that we do this with utility permits, but probably for variances, we need to take them on the merit of each of the variances. I'm trying to look through this to see exactly what they're asking for in the first one, the Williams one.
That's how much they're out of the 3 acre tract.
Go to test number 7, okay.
Yes, sir.
I think what they're trying to do is separate 1 acre. They need money.
Right. We're going to say some people that they can't change the property, so they're clear on the property rights.
One of the big problems is we don't keep track of this, so we don't know how many times they get here for repairs. It's one of the problems. You'll notice that he's already split off 1 acre, acre and a half. Not splitting off another, you know, the one that's family member is allowed by law. I think that's what we have to do.
Smith?
Your Honor, I have a name to review and I apologize. It is court dependent. The other variance is a exception to our current subdivision rules, however, this wouldn't. So it really depends on the court. This would only be for the purpose of income, to sell the property. So it's up to the court as to whether they want to go ahead and provide this and have this continue, or if they want to stop this at this point. However, we have done variances that have been previously within the county.
Anything in the covenants that you develop for this subdivision that would take and hinder this from happening?
They want to do it before we sold to the son, and then it's done
I can't hear you.
He had sold another acre out of that 4 acre tract up to his son, and that was a creek. So I don't know if this was the problem because of creeping back, which is just 1 acre out of 3 acre tract. And it does have towards the easement to have access to that part of the property.
And so the question is posed is this to another family member, or is this just for, it looks like it's just for monetary,
Yes, that one goes to family.
and going to keep chopping up an area. And it almost passed in the state legislature to where we were going to have any type of control whatsoever over any of this in the last session. And it didn't do anything because they realized, at least at this point, that having some local control is better for the public. And I understand where the other commissioners come. You plan on having so many neighbors, and then all of a sudden, that count goes up 200 and 300% because everything's being subdivided. And I also understand what he says. At the end of the day, property rights is at the top of what Texas believes is important.
All right, what would be the solution to this so we can move on? I entertain a motion again, either accept or deny.
Are the lots surrounding them owned by the same owner? Is it owned by Williams? Just for clarification, I wanted to know that the logistics of what Commissioner Hagan had discussed about subdividing these parcels at this point would be the issue of neighbors changing as far as that. It would make a difference to lot 6, which would be directly to the side of him as far as a different neighborhood, a smaller lot than what was initially expected from that subdivision.
And what kind of regulation does the county look at for providing someone the right to sell their property?
That's dependent on whether they want to come and possibly,
Challenges.
yes, which is always a possibility. Any of the decisions.
Mr. Martin, you want to make a motion to deny?
Sure. Make a motion to deny, agenda items 17A, 1 and A2, 536, 6706, Christian Williams, and County Road 326, 99, Christian.
Motion been made by Commissioner Martin. Second. Okay, hearing none, the motion dies again.
Sure. I'm charging chairman, which I don't think that we've been here.
Do you want to table the motion and then we come back to it after getting more information regarding the property?
You get that information for us in 2 weeks. All right.
What additional stuff they're gonna want, because we can have Mr. Williams to provide additional.
You might have it come to.
And sometimes, at least in like the development meetings, we assist with the neighbor's approval. And I know it's not required at all, but sometimes it just gives the board that comfort of knowing that the surrounding properties are also comfortable with it.
Tim, I'll entertain a motion to table agenda items 17A, 1 and 2 until we get more information to make a decision.
Motion to table.
Motion made by Commissioner Aiken. Do we have a second? Seconded by Commissioner Cardova. All right. Since it's a table motion, I'm going to call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against, nay. I will be a vote to say aye. It's table. Find out more information. Motion passes. Agenda item number 17-3, Woodlands, 133, Precinct 4, Barlow, discuss and take action.
That was something from the deck and garage that was partially in the easement. They have met all requirements, the Carson Utility Company, and he was able to be able to do
I'm going to say this because I know it's fixed out. We're fixing to have another one of these. And because people don't pay attention to what they do when they build stuff, so they build in the setbacks. Was camping for those. It's not our fault that somebody else made a mistake. I know they're trying to sell this, I guess it's what they want to do, so they want to get that approval. They should have been more careful.
And so this is in precinct 4. Since I went through it, it looks like a mistake was made. It was built into the area that is normally reserved for our utility easement. And they have obtained letters from the utility companies stating that they were okay with going ahead with this. These went before the review committee. So, this is technically agreements on utility. But SS and GDC both approved it. Encroachment on the utility companies. Okay. Motion that we accept the variance in regards to 133 Woodlands Drive.
Any other discussion on 17A3? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against? Nay. Aye. Motion passes. Agenda item number 17A4, County Road 302, 5161 Precinct 2. Valera, discuss and take action.
Mr. Kavanaugh was just splitting the blue tract that he recently bought, wanting the 2 acre. One of the tract 1.49, the second would be 1.19, so. He's been reviewed from the review committee and he has met all the requirements.
So they're doing this so that they can, well, same family splits too, right? They can have their own
We have,
dedicated septics and water.
yes, they are using water well and they do have, a letter from, SS Water, that they do have access if they wish to choose to let ground take the road on. They also have a letter from Murphy Holcomb for the road agreement, so that can be the process.
I noticed they only have 30-foot radius on top of the required 40 feet to be able to get in.
The utility company said that was okay, so they went out there and.
Well, it doesn't matter if we decide that, and that's set by us, we set 40-foot access easement.
For emergency, and is what, yeah.
input is our reg, so I'll entertain a motion to deny.
Is there any reason that they came up with only a 30-foot easement instead of a 40-foot easement?
It was a long time ago. This was property from, because this actual easement here is no longer existing. Ms. Holcomb had taken this one out and created this easement here between Allcat, Mr. Marino, and then her son's property. So that one has been existing. Not sure what date. It was prior to the 40-foot easement.
So that 40-foot easement prior to the 40-foot footing on our regs?
I'm not sure if it is whether it was.
After the back off, you can see my daughter shed, so she was.
It was to be grandfathered, but it would be dependent on what that occurred.
Okay, let's table this item till we do more research on it.
Make a motion to table this item until clarification on that 30-foot easement is grandfathered. Second.
Motion made to table by Commissioner Curdo, seconded by Commissioner Aiken. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against? Ayes have it, it is tabled. 17B, utility permit. 1, permit 802 DC Special Utility Precinct 3, County Code 345. Review and approve.
I have been out there and inspected the site, and I haven't had any problem with it, so I'll make a motion that we approve permit number 802, simply water special utility permit, County Road 345. Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Curdo, seconded by Commissioner Aiken. Any other discussion regarding agenda item 17B1? Hearing none, call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against? Ayes have it, motion passes. 17B2, permit 803 Spectrum, Precinct 2, County Road 329, review and approve.
Did you get anything back, Commissioner King, on
We just have to be approved it. We have paperwork.
since he's not here, just take that when we started,
Okay.
know that he's already overlooked it.
And then for the next two, we approved it.
I'll make a motion since Commissioner King has already reviewed it to accept permit 803 for the Spectrum, County Road 329.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Curdo, seconded by Commissioner Aiken. Any other discussion, further discussion on 17B2? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against, nay. Ayes have it. 17B3, permit 804 Spectrum Precinct 1, variance review, approved.
Yeah, so I think this is a continuation of the other Spectrum work that we reports ago, whatever. I looked at it, I have no problems. I'll make a motion to approve permit 804 Spectrum in precinct 1 on various roads in the Whispering Hills subdivision.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Martin, seconded by Commissioner Aiken. Further discussion on 17B3. Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against, nay. Ayes have it. 17B4, permit 805 Sunville Precinct 2, County Road 25, review and approve.
Commissioner King had approved that one.
Make a motion that we approve permit number 805 Sunco, Inland County Road 225. Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Aiken, seconded by Commissioner Curdo. Any other discussion on 17B4? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against, nay. Ayes have it, motion passes. 17B5, 5, permit 806, City of Forestville, Precinct 2, morning of approve and review.
That was also approved by Commissioner.
I'll make a motion that we approve permit 806, City of Floresville, Precinct 2. Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cardillo, seconded by Commissioner Aiken. Do you have any further discussion on 17B? 5. Hearing none, call for the vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those against? Ayes have it, motion passes. 17B6, permit 807, Charter Communications, Precinct 1, County Road 163, review and approve.
I've seen this, I was just double checking. I can't remember which side of the street, I think Oakdale Water Line's on the same side of the street. Table is, I didn't notice it where they. I'll just make a note from that. They got a call me test anyway. I'll make a motion to approve permit 807, Charter Communications, Precinct 1, County Road 163.
Motion made by Commissioner Martin, seconded by Commissioner Aiken. Any other discussion on 17B6? Against nay, ayes have it, motion passes. We're almost done. 17B7, permit 808, Coastal Water Precinct 1, County Road 117, review and approve.
Yeah, I'm more familiar with this movie, but I'll make the motion to approve permit 808 for Coastal Water Supply Corporation, Precinct 1, County Road 117.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Martin, seconded by Commissioner Cardillo. Is there any other discussion? 17B7. Hearing none, call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All against, nay. Ayes have it, motion passes. Thank you, ma'am. Agenda item 18, Sheriff Stewart, Sheriff's Office monthly progress.
That's in front of you, I'll have you all, nothing's changed pretty much what is on there, everything's pretty much average. Any questions?
Right quick, are the people that are outfitting the new vehicles, are they running a pretty good time?
Yeah. Hey, this is it's been the deal is that, he's going through some of it. He's not sitting there with nothing, he doesn't have to, he's moving them out and come back to them. They should be out in relatively short time.
Continue to use that parking lot over there to store your vehicles. Right there. There you go. Okay, you got it. I love to do that. So people wouldn't be damaged if there's nowhere else in the parking. So.
Best place in the county, probably. I would hope it is. We hope. Otherwise, we need.
Okay. Agenda item number 19. Ms. Barnett.
Hey, Judge,
Yeah.
did anybody here, did the governor sign the THC law, or did he veto it? Veto that. I missed that on, I think.
You're talking about the stuff they sell out there. You vetoed that? Okay.
And conversely, they took cell phones out of the schools, so wait for that backlash. Because it's
But
much
they did this at the school.
I think that the cell phone can be there, they just have to be like hidden or
It depends on how the board addresses it, the way that I read it all.
I'll tell you another thing, the problem with the THC, since it has such a low
the lab in Austin will not test that.
It'll overwhelm. And so then when you get to court, there's no test to see if it was really THC or not. So I think that was a big problem there. That they were gonna have to go. Agenda item number 19, you all have it for you as far as tax assessor collector monthly report. I want to take a couple minutes to look at that. And we'll move on. Okay, we're going to move to agenda item number 20, Ms. Christina Lewis, County Treasurer, to discuss and take action on County Treasurer's financial
Good morning, well, good afternoon. In your binders, you will see that I provided you the month of May with all of our activities, financial activities. As always, it's followed by the checking account with what we have, transactions that we have had in May, as well as our CDs. Then followed by our investments, any transactions, any withdrawals, deposits, everything's listed there. I do want to make a note that we are still pretty good in interest rate. It's still in that 4.4. So let's stay there. Fingers crossed. But then at the very bottom are what I call FNC, the Financial Northeastern Company. That one is a zero out. I went ahead and pulled that out. We're going to always put it into the other investments that are earning a lot more than so that will, of course, have all kinds of report in it. Then we have, of course, our outstanding debt. There were two purchases, or not purchases, but payments made on those two lease purchases. So you'll see that, as well as the remaining balance. Let's drop down. And then ending my report, of course, is what's labeled the treasurer's fund report. That lists all the funds with their beginning and ending balances and the penny charges. Anybody have any questions? That is for the month of May.
Commissioners, I'll entertain a motion on agenda item.
I'll make a motion to approve the May treasurer's report. Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Martin, seconded by Commissioner Cordova. Any other discussion on agenda item number 20? If none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those against, nay. Ayes have it, motion passes. Agenda item number 21, Jalen Harper, Human Resources, presentation of payroll and personnel.
Dustin Littlefield was hired as a road man for precinct 4, making $20 per hour, or $41,600 annually, effective today, June 23rd, 2025.
Any questions, Commissioner? All right, thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Agenda item 22, Brent Green, our county auditor, to discuss and take action on county bill.
I have reviewed a total of $608,033.09, which is what's in your report.
fire truck get together. So, so he's ready up with this freezing.
Mr. Martin was nice enough, he's on that now.
I'll entertain a motion.
Motion that we pay the bills as suggested by the auditor in the amount of $608,033.09.
Motion made by Commissioner Hayes, second by Commissioner Earl. Any other discussion on agenda item number 22? And none, call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those against, nay. Ayes have it, motion passes. Get this signed first, then we'll go on.
While we're signing this, I'd like to make sure that we get the replacement of these microphones and upgraded sound system up to us as soon as possible. Estimates.
We do, we had somebody $66,000 estimate, it's the same one that Scotia County has. So we have those estimates right now, we just need to bring forward for approval. Entertain a motion to adjourn. I couldn't get a second last time. Commissioner Aiken, who's my second? Third over?
Yes.
Okay. All in favor say aye. Aye. All those against?